Tonight, we're discussing the 10th National Assembly leadership battle. All right, Honorable Kenga, now you've been very open on the issue of zoning, but let me also ask you this. Is there any danger in throwing this contest open, as suggested by some aspirants?
But the contest is not closed. If you look at the provision of the Constitution, members shall elect among themselves these presiding officers. I can declare tomorrow to run if I want to. Nobody's stopping me, even though they have a rule that says you must have legislative experience. So the race is not closed. But what we are saying is that majority of us have decided that we're going to vote for Tajuddin Abbas and Benjamin Kalu. And some of the people that are saying through the race open, are they not the ones who are seeing their billboard from Asokoro to Wuse, even to the airport? Are they not the one? Is the race closed? Are they not the ones that are calling us for meeting? Have anybody stopped them from calling us meeting? They are calling meetings left, right, and some had dinner. I hosted dinner yesterday. Some are hosting tomorrow evening. So it's an open contest. You see, that you want to be, you felt maybe you could have been the anointed candidate or the candidate that your party would have put forward, and they didn't put you forward, and then suddenly you say, oh, they are blocking us, throw the rest open. Some of the people that are doing this are people who have benefited from this system in the past. We're not even eligible to have been elected into what they're occupying today, but the party in their wisdom zoned and brought them forward. So nobody is stopping anybody from contesting. But we are saying that the majority of the lawmakers, over 220 of us, have resolved that we're going to vote for Tajuddin Abbas and Benjamin Kalu. Any other person who wants to challenge them will meet us on the floor of the National Assembly when we go in for inauguration on June 13th. So the rest is open. There's nothing wrong in throwing the rest open. But what we're saying is that because all of us believe in the Nigerian project and want it to work, we are not saying that if you want to run and your aspiration may one way or the other further the lines of division, whether ethnic division or religious division, and make some people have feeling of exclusion, maybe you have to reconsider. And if indeed the reason for this is that you want a competitive race, then you can go to those zones where these positions are zoned and pick alternative candidate, but not to say it must be you as the only condition to show that this is a democratic contest. Because for me, I'm not a religious extremist or somebody who believes that religion should be put forward in government. But I don't think it's nice at this moment of our national development that there is so much suspicion. You saw what happened on the issue of the presidency and the vice. And then you now come now and say, let's go into the National Assembly on June 13 and come up with a result that will show a Muslim president, Muslim vice, Muslim Senate president, Muslim speaker, and Muslim CJN. I'm not saying it's bad, but it is not good for national unity, cohesion, and oneness. That we must go with what is on the table, which has provided an opportunity for inclusion. And if you say the inclusion is not enough, then you can make it more robust, but not to say you are going to take it back to where it has been for 16 years and then shut out those who have not even had it for 24 years.
All right, let me have your view on this. Some analysts are of the view that the race for the Senate presidency is less problematic than the Speaker of House of Representatives. Is this so?
Well, let me start on the Senate in this direction, because I'm somebody that I always have to say it the way it is. Now, you have Akpabio as Senate president, and you have Yari challenging that decision. Then I will ask, of what advantage will it be for Yari to contest against Akpabio and become the Senate president? And I said, in the past, we have all supported the people from the North. For 16 years, they have heard it. And they have heard the speakership for 16 years. And if your party said the position should go to South-South, and you feel is not inclusive enough, what do? You go to South-South and look for another senator. Or you go to South-East. There's Osita Izunaso. There's Patrick Ndubeze. There's other people who come from those. There's even Oshemole, even though he's a first-timer from South-South. So why do you now say that what they did is not right, but you now want to shift it to go to Northwest, so that at the end of the day, we have all the position, headship of the National Assembly and most of these key positions in the Northwest in particular, that it is not fair. And then we now say that, why not respect the zoning formula and allow Akpabio, or choose somebody to contest against Akpabio from those particular zones? I'm just feeling that it is not fair that each time something is given to most of us from South, East, South, South, Most of our brothers from the north feel they can snatch it, from our hands and nothing will happen. South have never had Senate presidency for 24 years. So if the party that is not our party said, take it from South, if you don't like the person that are proposing, what you do, if you're a man of honesty, transparency, and sense of fairness, is to look for another person from that particular, but not to say we are unworthy of that position. You will take it and give to a particular person. That is the only way there can be peace. Everybody is important in the Nigerian project. The South, their environment keeps being destroyed every now and then. They are not complaining. They are making those sacrifices for all of us to be feeding and have this republic to be working. Now they zone the particular position to them, and then you feel that for 24 years they have not occupied it, they are unfit to occupy it till the end of the world. It is not fair. Same with our brothers in the Southeast. This inclusion is very, very important. If not for anything, for us to have a sense of belonging in the Nigerian project. And that this crisis and these divisions you are seeing in the Senate is unnecessary. And I expect that senators are mature people. There is no basis for this. If you say you don't want him, then you look for another candidate from that particular area for the post of Senate President. But not to say you are going to put forward Yari. There's no basis for that if you want inclusion and oneness. And with all due respect, there is nothing Akpabio have that you say Yari will have in essence. So are you saying people from South are either the worst people or people that don't have people who have capacity to lead? So I can tell you with all level of confidence that it is personal greed that is driving what is going on, and a decision of a group of people, a clique, that wants to capture the National Assembly and then use it for whatever they want to do with it.
All right. So what do you think will become of the 10th National Assembly if APC failed to manage this well?
Well, we are all lawmakers and we have a common agenda, which is to make law, oversight, effectively represent our people. It does not matter. If at the end of the day, people feel they don't want what is on the table and then they upturn it, definitely we'll move forward. That will not be the end of the National Assembly. But we pray and hope that they don't upturn it in the Senate. In the House of Rep is a closed case because you have over 220 of us supporting Tajuddin Abbas and Benjamin Kalu. So no matter how you do the election on June 13, I can bet here that Benjamin Kalu and Tajuddin Abbas will have a landslide win, if not even consensus, as we get close to June 13.
All right, so let's come to your zone. It's out there that the Southeast is not happy with the decision to exclude the zone from the calculations, apart from Benjamin Kalu being considered for Deputy Speaker. How would you react to this?
Well, we deserve even the presidency if we want us to start. We for a long time since we returned back to democracy in 1999, even before then, from when Azikiwe was a ceremonial president and Tafawa Balewa had the actual power, when Agi Ironsi tried to form a unitary government before the coup then. We have never had a seat on the top table. And our people are hardworking. Our people believe in the unity of the country. Our people believe in a detribalized Nigeria, and they work night and day to see that Nigeria works. And there's no reason to deny us the top job. So if you want to start this conversation, we'll start even from the presidency that our people want so much. We didn't get the presidency, we didn't get the vice president, we didn't get the Senate president, we didn't get the speaker, we got deputy. That's why I said the deputy will accept, but not enough. We want more, but we hold the one they have given. And anybody that doesn't agree with it must be giving us something higher. Maybe you give us Senate president or you're going to give us speaker. But this one that are giving, we hold this one while we keep advocating for more. Even if we don't get in parliament, we should be giving more in other principal positions in government, grade A ministries and grade A security agencies and so on and so forth, and grade A ambassadorial postings and grade A ministries that our people will be expecting that will be included. And more, and not just only that, including us in government and resolving the tension in our land, as it has to do with the agitation for equity, justice, and fairness is also important to be able to make the government to move forward.
So is Orji Kalu and Osita Izonazo still in the race for the Senate presidency?
Well, I've not had any news to the contrary, even though I'm not actively involved in what is happening in the Senate. I'm more involved in what is happening in the House of Representatives, where I'm a lawmaker elect.
So, all right. So, if APC plan scales through, what do you think can be done to compensate the Southeast?
Well, like I said before, it's not just only the parliamentary position. Even in the setting up of committees, we must have top positions in grade A committees, both in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. And not only that, there is a ministerial appointment that is coming. There is grade A ministries like energy, power, petroleum, finance, and so agriculture, and so on and so forth. You must find a way to include us in strategic positions when assigning portfolios to the ministers. And then there's powerful organizations. You have the MASA, you have MPA, you have Sovereign Wealth Fund, you have customs, you have different strategic positions that we should also be given a fair share of these positions. And then in terms of headship of security agencies, let's not make the mistake our former President Muhammad Buhari did, having all the positions domiciled in the north. That is not good, especially when we have fine officers from the east and south in those services. So it's important that we also have a seat on the top security position in the country, that these things help to inspire confidence, it helps to inspire inclusion, that this will help to bring our people on board. And more importantly, even though in the coming weeks I'll make my broadcast to the President to ask him that it's time for national healing, especially on the Southeast issue, Nnamdi Kanu issue. We have a court judgment that have now said that the government should release him and have quashed the charges. I think as part of the step needed in this national healing that the President talked about in his broadcast, it's very important that we release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and then get back to the negotiation table so that we can be able to resolve most of these issues. Some of these issues can be resolved, some of them in restructuring, some of them in mainly restructuring and devolution of powers can help to give more opportunity for our people on the table and be able to address some of the grievances that made some of our people feel they were not included, that led to those agitations. So I will be using this opportunity also to appeal to the President and the Commander-in-Chief, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, to consider as part of the first step in his national healing and reconciliation that he promised, that he release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from detention and then convene a national Southeast National Engagement Roundtable to resolve all the issues that led to the agitation.
All right. So I know you said things are gradually getting stabilized, but what do you think President Tinubu should do at this stage to douse the tension?
Like I said, first actions, they matter very, very well. Even what you say, like you remember when President Muhammad Buhari said 5% and 95%, and people started seeing him from that angle. Decisions that we made, I saw the appointments today, were very okay in the balancing. Now, every appointment that you are going to make, don't think that it doesn't matter. It matters. Nigerian people are very sensitive to these issues. Ensure that every part of the country is given a seat on the table. That's the first stage. Then, in citing a project, let what happened last time. Remember when over $23 billion or more was borrowed and no project was cited in the Southeast and most part of the South. Those things does not foster inclusion and spirit of oneness and cohesion. So every step you're going to take, inclusion is very important. Then national healing is very important. We don't even need to enchant anybody. Let's close the book and move forward. Let the investigative agencies do their work, but let the executive focus on building bridges of unity, building bridges of cohesion and oneness, and ensuring that merit is also put on forward in appointments that are going to make. Don't consider people because of the level of support they gave to you. You can find them other jobs, but strategic positions should be given to the people who have the requisite knowledge for them. And all these things, when you do them, and then you govern with the way your oath of office to treat everybody fair and equitable, I think that it will help to reduce tension. More importantly, the president has to remember the things he used to say, either when he was in NEDECO or when he was in the opposition, about the need for restructuring. We have talked so much about the restructuring. You saw how former President Buhari played us while on it, set up an El-Rufai committee. We didn't see anything about that report, different reports, the committees that were set up. That is very important, that there are certain things people keep running away, discussing the issue of this, making Nigeria to be truly a federal state, making the devolution of powers, and so on and so forth. These things are very important. If we keep running away from it, it will not work. Cost of running government, we have to find a way to reduce it. We must find a way to restructure the country, whether it's health reform, political reform, economic reform, the issue of the tax, the mining right. And let me even commend the 9th National Assembly led by Speaker Femi Bajamamila, especially on the issue of starting the restructuring from the angle of devolution of power. You can see one of the laws that were signed, one of the bills that was signed into law by the president has to do with the issue of railways. Now, states can build their own rail system, and this is something that we have been asking for over time, and there's no way everybody will keep waiting for federal government. Now, somebody can build a rail line from Onitsha to Nnewi and to Oka, and another person can build from Owerri to Olu or somewhere. These are things that will increase economic activities and transportations in the states. And some states can come together and build it and connect it together. And you saw the innovation on power generation. We've been asking this for a very long time. So it's a good thing that is now one of the things that were signed last minute before he left office, that states can also generate their own power in areas that are not also connected to the national grid. That means you can go to a place like Nnewi and build a mini power plant and sell your power to the people around those areas. So, but we want more so that we can make the Nigerian Federation to work. We have to find a way, health reform. There's no business with federal government getting involved in primary health care. These are things that should be left for the local government system. And also it's important that the new government finds a way to ensure that we have LUG autonomy. You can see that governors has pocketed the local government like a wallet. They use it the way they like. This is not what local government used to be when we were growing up. Local government was very, very effective in terms of leadership growth, in terms of economic development and small-scale business encouragement, health, and so on and so forth. We have to find a way to restore back the independence of the local government system, both in their election, both in their finances, and so on and so forth. These things are very, very important. It will jumpstart the economy and ensure that the drift you are seeing from the rural area to the city center will stop, because people will now be engaged in those rural areas. So we have to look at that. We have to even look at power rotation, so that we can rotate power between north and south, so that we can remove the instability and the division and the rhetorics of war that comes with every 4 years that will go to election, so that power can rotate between both zones, the geographical zones in the country, and even in the senatorial zones, so that the energy will waste in one senatorial zone trying to dominate the other over 24 years or 25 years. We can stop all those kind of things and treat each other as one in the Nigerian project.
All right,
that restructuring is very important. It will be the lasting formula for stability.
All right. As it stands, the opposition has tremendous numbers in the National Assembly this time around. What are the implications of this? I mean, I ask this question because it is often said that the 9th National Assembly was a rubber stamp. Do you agree it pandered too much to the executive? Two questions in one.
Well, I think it's victory for democracy, because Parliament has all been about the people. Now that you have equality in numbers, what I mean by that is that the APC cannot have 2/3 any longer to be able to push anything in the House of Representatives. What does that tell you? There will be engagement, there will be collaboration, there will be understanding, give and take, for us to be able to arrive at key issues that require a 2/3 resolution before it can pass. So I don't think it will affect governance. It's all about intention. If the intention of the APC is to make the country to work, and we see that intention on the table, and we can see clearly through it, definitely we'll give our support. But if we feel that that intention is not for the glory of the country, then we'll use our simple majority, what we call the greater minority advantage, to forestall such a move. So it will not destabilize governance. But if there is collaboration, if there's working, you can see what is happening in the US Congress. If there is collaboration, if there's working together, definitely it will not affect governance. It will all be to the glory of the Nigerian people.
All right, so in less than 1 minute, a new administration is in place in the country. How will you advise the president to turn things around?
I have said it before. I said the first steps matters, inclusion and merits. People that will be appointed into position of authority must have merit, especially statutory agencies that have impact to bear on our lives. And more importantly, people that have merit and capacity, both in the security agencies. And I also say that every zone must be given a seat on the table so that everybody can be carried along. And national healing and reconciliation is very important, especially in the Southeast. We must find a way to bring everybody to come to the table, discuss all the issues, starting with the release of Mazin Nandekana as we go into the peace discussion that will bring lasting peace. And also I said restructuring is also very important to make the Nigerian Federation to work efficiently. There must be economic restructuring, there must be political restructuring, there must be health, all sorts of reforms must be carried. And the revenue generation issue will be discussed. and how to make states independent and be able to generate their revenues. So that if states are working, if local governments are working, most of the things you see that is causing problem in Nigeria will not be happening. There will be economic empowerment. So that's why it's important, both mining rights. Government over time, tries to shy away from some of these things because of politics. But it's important that the new administration should develop the boldness that is required to confront those age-long issues that divide us, age-long issues that retard our development, rooted in the need for restructuring, inclusion, justice, equity, and fairness, and merit on the table. And I can tell you that Nigeria can still work.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Kenga Ugochinyere, member-elect of House of Representatives from Idiato North and South Federal Constituency of Imo State. Tonight, we looked at the 10th National Assembly Leadership Battle. Thank you very much for coming on Politics Tonight, and I look forward to more conversation with you, and congratulations once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much.